This is my review of Samurai Flamenco. Okay, so immediately after Masayoshi arrives at Goto's apartment, Goto basically prepares to go to war. He gives Masayoshi a gas mask, puts one on himself, and then pulls out some of Masayoshi's new, older-ish gadgets that he never actually wound up using. I think they were gadgets that were made in the time that Masayoshi has been wandering around, avoiding the public like the plague, because these are new gadgets we haven't seen before. But they do have the Samurai Flamenco logo on them, so I'm assuming they are supposed to be a permanent part of his arsenal going forward. But the main thing he pulls out is a set of giant erasers and a gas canister, which is designed to stop the SWAT team that's trying to break into Goto's apartment. Then they escape through the roof, and Haruzuka picks him up, and they escape in his car. And when the SWAT team tries to give chase, Haruzuka activates his special James Bond-esque new gadget in his trunk, which enables him to drop thumbtacks that eventually dissolve. And they are able to escape from the riot guard. At which point Goto points out that he kind of always knew that Masayoshi couldn't have been a bad guy, pointing out that Harakiri Sunshine was exactly like he remembered from the old TV shows that he used to watch, and also points out that Masayoshi's a little bit too stupid to be able to pull this off, which Jun agrees to, much to Masayoshi's chagrin. But they also reveal that they have a plan to actually take down the Prime Minister, and they arrive at the safe house where they meet Kono, who unveils that not only is Ishihara safe, and also has a few choice words that she plans to give Masayoshi when he finally gets back to his normal life, but he also reveals that the members of the Japanese government are planning to pass the bill that same day that's supposed to outlaw superhero acts. And if that law passes, that means that not only are superheroes basically illegal, but it also means that with additional additions to the law as time passes, basically the Prime Minister can control superheroes to his needs and can basically do what he wants with them once the bill passes. So yeah, Masayoshi is immediately on board with trying to prevent that from happening. At which point, Mr. Justice, who somehow survived getting shot with a tranquilizer dart, Mr. Justice shows up and agrees to help, and holds off the guards outside while Masayoshi and the rest go and deal with the Prime Minister. At which point, Goto and Masayoshi confront the Prime Minister and the various politicians as the bill is being passed, by the way. It hasn't officially gone through yet, but it has gotten enough votes to actually be able to be passed, and they were just about to pass it and put it into the law. But Masayoshi show up, say that they plan to only talk to the Prime Minister and that anybody else who doesn't have business with him should get out. But the politicians don't listen and attack him anyway, at which point he restrains him with a new gadget that's designed like a giant toothbrush, but uses a special type of glue that eventually dissolves, but is designed to restrain anybody who tries to fight back. At which point the Prime Minister finally agrees, pointing out that it'll help his reputation, but only if they cut off the audio for the feeds, because this is being broadcast on national television, and everybody else leaves because it's a code F, which we will get to see in a minute. At which point everybody leaves, and Goto goes out to the main lobby to try and keep the security from getting back into the building by restraining the door closed, as we see later, and while Masayoshi tries to talk with the Prime Minister. However, the Prime Minister has a trick up his sleeve and actually uses the Dai building, which is where the meeting is being held, to his advantage, as the Dai building is able to just miraculously create 3D print a suit for him, which he then puts on, and reveals that his real name with his middle name is actually Flamenco. So pointing out that he was actually chosen by a higher being and not by the people. At which point, and also reveals that his suit works by increasing his support, which is almost at 100% at this point, and is very close to it. And if it gets to 100%, he'll be basically unstoppable. And case in point, he basically mops the floor with Masayoshi. Masayoshi is unable to fight back, and the only real thing he can do is try and talk the Prime Minister down as the Prime Minister beats on him over and over. But the Prime Minister kind of doesn't care. The Prime Minister points out that his main goal is is for the safety of the nation, and it doesn't really matter what kind of altruistic goal it might be, and whether it's less than altruistic and less than ideal for people involved. But also points out he doesn't care because he thinks it's for the good of the nation. And again, miraculously beats Masayoshi. Meanwhile, Goto is having trouble holding off the guards, but at this point, the Flamenco girls have since been revived as a team, and they come to the Dai building to help Goto out, basically to pay off the debt that Goto owes that they owe Goto, because Goto kind of helped out Mario for a bit, and he helped her try and get back on her feet and fix what's wrong with her emotionally. So they're deciding to repay the favor and help him hold off the guard so he can go help Masayoshi. And that he does. He even confronts the Prime Minister and points out that he doesn't support him, at all, which upsets the Prime Minister, and then he starts attacking Goto as well. And both of them are out cold, and not out cold, but very, very injured. At which point, the Prime Minister reveals his true plan, which is that he's planning to rid the world of superheroes so that he could, and reveals that he actually did blame the superheroes for what actually happened, and that he wasn't actually concerned with superheroes, but rather another different threat that we see later. But it's also revealed that it's revealed a little bit later, but Masayoshi refusing to back down reveals that he will continue to fight even if he has no chance, and lands a punch on the Prime Minister, who doesn't really care at first until the suit actually takes damage. At which point he finally looks over his public support and realizes that for some reason it's going down. At which point Kono reveals that he's been hiding behind one of the pews and has filmed the whole thing with audio and has been streaming it to his site, which enables him to basically destroy the Prime Minister's public support. And at that point, Masayoshi and Goto are able to deliver a double Flamen kick and defeat the Prime Minister once and for all. But the Prime Minister reveals that was a mistake, and case in point, Mr. Justice appears on the scene, except that it's revealed that it's not actually Mr. Justice, but is in fact an alien named Alien Flamenco, who the Prime Minister reveals has actually been replacing the world leaders steadily and is trying to take over the world. And the alien tries to extend its hand to Masayoshi and asks it to join him, and Masayoshi adamantly refuses. At which point the alien realizes it has no choice and tells Masayoshi to come confront him, and then retreats to its ship, which is massive and is also cutting off signals to the entire city. So yeah. So now Masayoshi has to fight an alien, but it's not revealed. But before he does that, he actually asks the Prime Minister what Flamenco actually is, and the Prime Minister never actually gives him an answer, as the ship kind of just materializes shortly thereafter. So now Masayoshi has a lot of answers about why so many people are named Flamenco, and also has to deal with an alien. Fun! So yeah, everybody's very confused as to why there's suddenly an alien. Many of the people in the room are confused as to why there's suddenly aliens. The Flamenco girls are confused as to why there's aliens. Masayoshi is confused as to why there's aliens. Koto's confused as to why there's aliens. Kono's confused as to why there's aliens. Everybody's confused as to why there's aliens. But the alien thing kind of makes sense given what Mr. Justice said. He said that a lot of nations have fallen and have done something similar. And we know it's not actually Mr. Justice, which means that Alien Flamenco basically revealed his plan way in advance, So while the twist that Mr. Justice is actually an alien comes into play, it's not actually a complete surprise that this alien has actually been taking over nations, because we've heard it straight from the horse's mouth already. So we know for a fact that this was going to be a thing several episodes ago. But yeah, this episode makes no sense toward the end, but it does wrap up the whole Prime Minister arc. And now Masayoshi only has one real threat to contend with before going back to his normal life, presumably, because there's 4 more episodes after that one. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting final battle, I guess. Because I mean, how is Masayoshi supposed to fight an alien? I mean, we don't even know what the alien can do. But based on the fact that it completely assimilated most of the world governments, I would assume it's pretty powerful. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on Samurai Flamenco. This episode made sense at first, then it got really weird. But then again, that's par for the course with this show. So I guess I can't be too surprised all that much. But yeah, it was my review of Samurai Flamenco. What did you guys think? Let's get a discussion on the comment section down below. We're over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that you can show off to your friends, including, and also it's cool perks that give you benefits within the community. So I would definitely recommend doing those and checking that out and seeing what works for you. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!